Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So, LeBron James is a Laker, as I suspected, and I told you guys early. Was it early in the weekend or Friday or Thursday? Whenever I told you guys, and it just goes to show you, man. LA is the place to be, man. I don't care what nobody say, man. LA is the land of milk and honey, and I mean, for Cleveland, this is catastrophic. For LA, it's a beautiful thing, man, and I'm I feel honored and blessed that I live in Los Angeles, man. It's just the most I believe it's the most electrifying city in the world. The only non-major city I haven't been to in America is Anchorage and Boston. So, um, and I've been all over the world, and LA definitely is the land of opportunity. If I wanted to live and just be plain Jane, I would move to Sydney, Australia. But if I wanted to have a chance to become a zillionaire and build a legacy for my family, this is definitely the place to be. And I'll say this: LeBron James didn't come here to win championships. That's not his primary goal. The reason why he came here. Obviously, he's a hell of a competitor. He's going to do his due diligence to be a world champion in the Laker uniform. At the end of the day, the reason why he moved here was to protect the James last name forever, forever. Like the Carnegies, the Kennedys, and the Cosbys, the Russells, the Carters. You know, those names will live on forever, and they've amassed so much wealth that their names will go on and live forever. But I'm just proud of the man that he is in control of his own narrative. I believe he'll be one of the first guys to be an executive producer on his own biopic. I just believe that. That's what I see out of LeBron James, and that's the genius of it. A lot of people will typically hand it off because they don't want to handle the social rhetoric that comes with something like that. But if you have enough strength to call yourself King James, you know, obviously it makes sense to call yourself King James. But to carry that moniker, you know, I mean, it's almost blasphemous to a certain degree, right? And to Orthodox Christians. But congratulations to LeBron James. I'm absolutely happy, and it's gonna be dire straight. I mean, the power of LeBron James. They went from like 10-1 odds to win an NBA championship, I would suspect, to 500-1. That's how powerful LeBron James is, and Dan Gilbert is going to be beside himself because, hypothetically speaking, I'm just using these numbers. Let's say the Cleveland Cavaliers was worth $1.5 billion while LeBron James was there. The net worth of the Cleveland Cavaliers is $1 billion right now. He's worth that much, you know, and I don't know what the true numbers is, but it's some catastrophic hit. They will take some catastrophic hit, and Dan Gilbert is one of the guys that's going into Detroit and rebuilding Detroit with the I believe Dan Gilbert, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan Gilbert is the Quicken Loans guy, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Dan Gilbert, Quicken Loans. Let me find out. Dan Gilbert told people he wants to run James. Nah, Dan Gilbert doesn't mind the thought of LeBron. Quicken Loan. Okay, yeah, Dan Gilbert's company is the number one direct consumer lender, but if it ever sputters, so could so so could so the reason why I brought that up, I know he's made a lot of money off of Quicken Loans, right? But I don't know if he's leveraged the Cleveland Cavaliers and the upstart of Detroit. He's invested hundreds of millions of dollars in Detroit. I mean, like hundreds of millions of dollars in Detroit, uh, you know, and he's amassed so much wealth. And I don't know if he's leveraged his equity in the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, with that being said, um, it could have catastrophic repercussions of LeBron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm excited for LA. I feel bad for all the business owners, all the bars around the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their tickets will literally be basically free. Like the Los Angeles Clippers will be just like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like it's no point going to a Clipper game. Like it makes no sense. And I used to have season tickets to the Clippers. I had season tickets for 2 years, and then I just went on. And then I realized um, I could sit in a lower level for basically free $20. So I just said I'll do that instead. But the Lakers, I mean, the Clippers will be moving to the Forum, which will be great for me. You know, it's much closer to my house, and you don't have to deal with the downtown traffic. So I'm thoroughly excited. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What else? I'm interested to see what Cleveland and Detroit will look like in 2 years. I'm interested to see in the next 700 days what happens to Detroit, how Dan Gilbert responds over the next year. He's obviously not going to make a haste response like he did last time, but I'm really, really interested to see what happens. And this goes to show you, anybody out there that can hear my voice, you're sitting in your room, you're sitting in your mom's house, you're sitting quite possibly in a jail cell, you're quite possibly sitting somewhere where you're not you believe you're not fulfilling your potential and you want to get to Los Angeles. The same ambitions and desires you have is the same ambitions and desires LeBron James believes about Los Angeles. Pack up and come to Los Angeles. I mean, if you, I mean, I hate to sound like cynical or something, but I'm being realistic. Los Angeles is a great city to be homeless. I've been homeless. I was homeless for 2 years here in LA. You know, thank God I had friends. You know, and that allowed me to sleep on their couch. You know what I mean? And if you get yourself a 24-hour membership, and I'm being real genuine, I'm not. It sounds funny and audacious and kind of like ridiculous, but it's 300 days of sun. It rarely rains. It rains 20 days a year out here. You know, build your network. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got all these things where you can social network and tell people that you kind of know that you're coming to LA and ask them, can you sleep on their couch once a week? You know what I'm saying? But get you a 24-hour, no, Planet Fitness membership. Get you a Planet Fitness membership because it's cheaper than 24 hour. And they're open 24 hours a day typically, I think. You know what I mean? Come out here in your car and believe in yourself. LeBron James is doing the same thing. The only thing is that he has a little bit more money than all of us. And but his job is he believes he can fulfill his destiny being in Los Angeles. You know, he wants to be a mogul. And not that he isn't already, but it's just insane what's about to open up for him, man. You know, I have no doubt that I'm going to meet him at some point. You know, every, I've met every, I haven't met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Met Kobe, I've met Magic, I've met Shaq, I've met all these other guys. Nothing to mention. I mean, nothing like, I wasn't definitely in the state of conscience that I am now. I would want to have a conversation with LeBron, like just to pick his brain, like what's his, that type of thing. I was more of a young lad back then where I just shook their hand and kept pushing. Like I told you guys, I've never really been starstruck. You know what I mean? I went to high school with Muhammad Ali's daughter. You know what I mean? So, um, you know, Pooh Richardson was basically my assistant coach in high school. Um, so I've never really been starstruck. You know, I went to high school with 2 or 3 celebrities. I don't know their names anymore, but they were on TV shows and stuff like that. I just forgot who they was. So, but yeah, man. So I'm excited, and we'll see what happens. But I'm interested to see what happens. I want to see what happens. What happens with the financials? I really genuinely want to see what happens with the financials. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I can see happening. They can't sign anyone. I literally can see Chris Bosh coming to the. I'm just thinking about retired players. Thank you, Lincoln. I can see someone like Chris Bosh coming. Uh, Before I did the video, I heard Lance Stevenson. uh, is coming to the Lakers, which makes sense. That's similar to LeBron. I mean, similar to Kobe, Ron Artest when Ron Artest choked Kobe years prior to him coming. Dennis Rodman going to the Bulls. You know, I mean, you always want public enemy number one as your ally. You know what I'm saying? So, Lance Stevenson, I see him. Well, I used to see him a lot more often because he goes to the barbershop on the what's the name of that barbershop guy? Like I'm like you guys can respond back, but you guys know the one on Centinela. Chuck Taylor's. He goes and gets his haircut at Chuck Taylor's by that 7-Eleven across the street from the Magic Johnson Starbucks and all that, the Magic Johnson Center. So that's where he drives a Range Rover. I've seen him. I'll see him all summer throughout because, you know, we got the soul food restaurant, we got the 7-Eleven, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in the community gets their haircut at Chuck Taylor. So sometimes I'm over there and I just happen to see him. So, and he goes to the Magic Johnson. If you go to the Starbucks at the Magic Johnson, you're going to see everybody throughout the summer. So anyways, man, so I'm excited. He already had a home here, Lance Stevenson. LeBron James already had a home, and they said on ESPN that he's rebuilding a new home. All that is cool, but I'm really interested to understanding the financials of the Cleveland Cavaliers and how it's going to affect the Detroit area. You know, Detroit is the only city that has all four major teams playing downtown between baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. The only city in one central location. Every other city is spread out throughout the city. You know what I mean? So, anyways, man, those are my thoughts. Congratulations to LeBron James. I'm excited. You know, I told you guys, like I told you guys I'm rarely wrong on this channel. I'm rarely wrong. And I'm gonna do a video on that next because I just feel like talking about it. So anyways, man, Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks, peace.